Well, welcome back to the SA Sports Show. Today I've got the pleasure of having Jeff Potter in the studio, ex-Port Adelaide superstar, four-time premiership player, four-time best and fairest and 23 state games for South Australia. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you.
Talk me through the journey, mate. You got to Port Adelaide at what age?
I came up from Mount Gambier at the age of 17 and I was very lucky at that time. I played 3 B grade games and I was relegated to the A's, and I played in my first premiership of the last of the 6 in the row. So
okay.
It was a pretty lucky effort to play in his premiership first year.
First year, as a 17-year-old?
Yep.
Fantastic. So you skipped through the 19s and all that sort of
Didn't
stuff in
play them.
those days? Didn't play them at all?
No. I thought I had a bit of an advantage because I'd been playing in A grade down the mount since I was 15.
Yeah.
So I didn't worry about playing against the men, so I thought, well, I got a bit of an advantage and it worked out the way.
Talk me through the Port initiation when you come up. You're a country lad that knows nobody.
Nobody, no.
Within 3 games you're playing senior footy. How was your welcome into the senior side on that first game? What were the boys like back in those days?
Well, I can tell you a little funny story. The first night's training I got there and bloke told me the Colts train tomorrow night. So I was on my way out the back door and Big Bob told me to get back. So anyway, that's how it turned out. But yeah, the initiation we had some terrific players and they really helped the young people in the side, and players like Ted Whelan and Jeff Motley and Lloyd Zucker. I love Lloydie because he was a beautiful tap ruckman, and I had a great time with him. So yeah, it was a really good initiation, and sort of it didn't mean as much then, winning a premiership, not like it was in the next few when it was hard.
When it was harder.
Yeah.
Now Lloydie Zucker, you said as a ruckman, he wasn't your typical ruckman, was he? He wasn't a 6'5" athlete.
No, he wasn't. Lloydie was around about a 6'4" maybe.
Yep.
But he used to get his knees up and he used to hurt a lot of them, but his tapping was amazing. He used to just use his left hand, he could push it wherever you were going, and no, he was a very, very good player.
Yeah, and you won a leading goal kicker at Port as well.
Yeah.
Did you rove all that year as well, mate?
Yes.
Or were you any
No, I
permanency?
roved all the year.
So you roved all year and still won the...
Yeah, well, the philosophy was at that time that if you were over and resting in the pocket, you had to kick goals.
To kick goals.
And if you didn't kick goals, you got a kick in the bum. So,
yeah. Who was alongside you in those days at full forward? Who was?
Rexy Johns.
Okay, so you had some talent around the place.
Yeah, Eric Freeman.
Yep.
There was quite a bit of really good goal kicking people, and we had a very, very good side at that. When I first came in, it was a really good side.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think the B grade had won 5 in a row at that time as well.
Okay.
So there was a lot of good players around at the time.
Yeah. Then that rivalry with Sturt.
Oh yeah.
You loved that?
Yeah, loved it.
Yep.
Got booed off the ground in '66. There was 66,000 people there, and first time I've been booed off the ground. So I thought, whoops, that's not good.
And who were those days? They would have had Roger Rigney roving.
Yeah, Roger Dunn, Rigney.
Yep.
They had a pretty good side.
They had a good side.
And I still rate Bagshaw and Davies as probably 2 of the best players going around at that time.
Yep.
They were really good.
Would you have them up there as around the best of all time? Those sorts of players? Bagshaw, would he be up there?
Yeah, Bagshaw, but I rate Russell and Barry Robin probably the 2 best players that I had played with and against. They were amazing.
Ever times in games where you just watched and said, how they do that?
Never ever stood back and watched players do what I couldn't do. I thought, well, no, that's not part of the game. But yeah, I've come across some good. I played a lot against Bobby Skilton and a bloke by the name of Alan Stewart. Yeah, he was an amazing player.
He was probably one of the, from the old vision that you see, in tight, he was amazing, wasn't he?
Oh, very, very clever. He was, and in '63 I played on a fella called Kevin Murray.
Yep.
Oh, he was a tough boy.
Yep. So did you play in the state game where they knocked off the Vicks?
Yeah, I played in the '60s. In fact, Neil Curle's going to get the the group together. I think there's only 14 left of that side.
Right.
And he wants to get a group together of the 63 side. And
Well, I think he used to do that at Victoria Park, didn't he? Is that?
Yeah, we had one there.
Yeah.
But he's going to get another one together. And a few of them aren't that well, so all the best for the ones that aren't so well. But
Would they tell any lies at those get-togethers, mate, or not?
oh well, we still tell plenty. I can tell you, it's good fun. We're a lot better then than we were now than we were then.
And Curle was fantastic to play with in those state games.
we had a tough side.
Yeah.
There wasn't anyone that run around a player.
So then you talk about Neil Curle and love playing with him in the state games. What about in home and away games?
Oh yeah, we had plenty of run-ins, Curls and I, and he'd give as good as he took, and he never grizzled. And I thought, well, that's good. I like that sort of player.
Yeah.
They're tough, but they can take it as well.
Yeah. And your last game, what year was that, mate?
1970.
1970.
Yes. And from there, I went up to Broken Hill and coached at Broken Hill for 3 years.
Okay. So you played 230 odd games, is that?
235.
Yep.
Yep. And I played 23 interstates.
Yep.
And kicked a few goals. I missed more than I kicked, so that didn't help.
Yep. And so back into, once retired, and you see the evolution of the Port Footy Club into the Port Power.
Yes.
And did you get caught up in the euphoria of getting into the AFL eventually, or what were your thoughts of getting in there?
Initially I was a little bit not liking it.
Yep.
Mainly because, and it still is, it's controlled by Victoria. Whether you like it or not,
Yep.
AFL is Victoria, VFL. And to me, until that can change and get maybe 6 umpires from every state, it's not going to change.
Yeah.
And I'm very disappointed in that it's so hardly run by Victoria. And I'd like to see something change there. But the playing style is good. I've watched it right through, and I've followed the styles and different game plans.
Yep.
And it's professional, and it's like back when I played, we nearly had to pay to play.
So the journey that you've seen, like when you played, and obviously the skills have got better and better and better over the years.
Yep.
But what about the other side of that? What about mentally with the players? Do you reckon that's gone the same direction, or is it?
I think mentally players are not nearly as good as what they were when we played. I think players today are overtrained.
Yep.
No players today play on instinct, only the top players. And I think that a lot of the game is played now on a computer, which to me is no good.
Yep.
And I think that the players, they don't do natural things. They don't do instinct. They're playing to a computer.
I certainly agree with you there. I see a lot of training. I've coached for a long time at amateur league level, etc. And you can have as many set structures as you like, and until you can actually do that on game day under the pressure of battle and someone wanting to, put you under severe pressure, the theoretical side of it is.
Game plans are terrific, but they last 10 minutes because you've got 6 coaches telling them what's going on.
Yep.
It only lasts 10 minutes because you just block it, and that, to me, game plans are not worth 2 and 6.
Yeah. Pleasure, mate. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Yes, thanks for staying with us. There's been a lot happening on the show, Poppy. Before we get to the close, you've got something...
One sec. I want to get something off my chest. You know what?
Always makes me nervous.
No, because I forgot it at the top of the show.
Yep.
During the off-season, where we mentioned most sports, one thing was highlighted in the paper. They matched up the championship side that you coached against the current side that Joey Wright has.
So 36. So 2002 championship winning team?
Yes.
Compared to the 2017 team.
Now, there was 2 things that worried me about that. One is that they said the 2017 team head-to-head was a better team, but they hadn't won the championship, but I think they were ahead of themselves. 2 is that as time has evolved since that, it was proven that they weren't good enough to even make the... What are you giggling about?
Yeah,
I
know where you're going.
Well, they weren't even good enough to make it. So on that basis, I don't think you can match. I think this side... you can't match up talent 15 years apart, right?
You can't
so
compare
what you can do though is compare records as a team.
for sure.
And the fact is, this side was good enough in 2002 to win a championship side. You were the coach of that side.
Yep.
This side, albeit talented, wasn't good enough when the going got tough against Illawarra to get the job done.
Agreed.
Now,
can't argue with that.
but I haven't seen a story coming back to say,
Got it wrong.
well, it was a full-page spread.
Yep.
Phil.
Got a couple of things wrong, didn't he?
Don't get me angry the first show. But do you know what I mean? I don't
No, I agree
understand.
with you. I agree. Look, we all know it's like when you pick the top 25 players or the top 50 players, or where will the Crows finish this year, where will the Power finish. You've got to speculate a little bit, and it's good fish and chip paper when you do that sort of stuff. You can't, what you said, you cannot compare eras, cannot compare teams. They always get better.
Who was the bloke that
Always
wrote it?
better.
Who was it?
Body nudge.
He's a nice bloke.
He is a nice bloke. All right, we need to wrap up the show. Hope you've enjoyed our first show. Look forward to your company next week. Bye for now, everybody.